Hi, welcome to episode 2 of Galahad Explains. Today, we're going to be talking about a topic not many people are super familiar with. Now, I know you probably have heard of the story of David and Goliath. It's one of the biggest stories from the Bible. It's very well known, very popular, and, it's talked about a lot in Sunday schools, just normal church proceedings. But do you know the other stories of David? Let's get started. Now, the idea of David fighting the Goliath really came from his battle with Saul. Saul was the king of this area, and God had told David that he was going to usurp the throne because Saul was not a very good king. Now, when Saul heard this from David and from God himself, he wasn't very happy about what was going on because he liked being king. He wanted to remain king, and rightfully so, but he was not the best at it. So, Saul, to try and combat David from taking his throne from him, he started giving him impossible tasks that he thought no man could complete to try and persuade him away from being the king, or even in some cases get him killed. Now, that's where the David and the Goliath story comes from. Saul sent him after the Goliath to get rid of him, thinking he would die, but he managed to get through with just a slingshot in hand. Now, let's get into the story that not many people know of, and that is David and the foreskins. See, you may think this is a joke. This is dead serious. This is not a Galahad bit. David was tasked by Saul because he knew he was getting into battle with the Philistines, and all the people of his kingdom were circumcised. So his idea was that he can send David into battle before his men and give him the impossible task of killing 1,000 men, or 10,000 men, and collecting their foreskins as proof that he killed them. Now, he didn't think this was possible, and he thought he could finally get rid of David. So he promised David, if he were to win this battle and come back with the foreskins in bag, he could marry his daughter and become the true son-in-law to the king, which would even further push him into kinghood. Now, what Saul didn't expect was that on the very next day, David returned with a bag, placed it on the table, and revealed that he had killed the 10,000 men required that was needed, and every single one of the foreskins was collected. This destroyed Saul's world around him. He didn't know what to do at this point. He had heard from God he was going to not be king anymore. God had told David he was going to be king, and so far everything Saul has done has led to David continuing to be further and further into the power of kinghood. Now, this final thing was what really threw him off, because later in that week, after the battles have gone through, after David had wiped out the whole army, in the churches that Saul had visited, he could hear the choir of the church singing a song somewhere along the lines of, Saul may kill his thousands, but David may kill his 10,000s. This threw Saul into a rage, where he, after that, lost his mind and just charged straight at David and tried to murder him right off the bat. And obviously, he was punished for this. And David eventually became king. Thank you for listening.